I am not my breath. I am not even my body. I move beyond my mind. I move beyond thinking. I move beyond even a single thought. And I invite Samuel and my guide to speak through me. Welcome back, children of God, of light, of love. For is this not the day you celebrate this word you call love? And is not this word the essence of what each and every one of you are? Love. Four simple letters that convey so very much. One single word. That speaks of your very essence. That speaks of the essence of all that is. And yes, in your terms, all that ever was and ever will be. This one we speak through thinks of this term love as the glue that holds this thing you call the universe together. Dear ones, even in the silence, there is much love being shared with each one of you. On this day, you celebrate this term, love. Realize that even in the stillness, love is always present, ever present. Even when your human emotions flare up, so to speak, be it with anger or despair or grief, love is always present. Ever present. There is nowhere it is not. Even when it appears hidden or gone, it is never gone. It is what birthed you. It is in every breath you take. It flows with every beat of your heart, dear ones, for you are that. This human penchant, shall we call it, for picking days to celebrate certain things. It is as if in your humanness you cannot feast on the love that you are. You cannot celebrate it every day. Be like the child, dear ones, who celebrates every day with wonder. Be it just a simple act of watching a ladybug walk across the rug. Gently putting your finger down and letting the ladybug walk onto your hand. And watching in amazement as all of a sudden this bug flies. Why is it that this quote-unquote growing into adulthood it is so easy to lose the wonder of just being alive. The wonder that each breath you take sustains you. Each pump of your heart sustains you. Rushing around, scurrying around to this thing you call life. Earning a living. Take time, dear ones. To celebrate this gift of life that you are given. give thanks. To look on the world with eyes of appreciation. For the bounty that surrounds you everywhere you look. Gifts, untold number of gifts are given to you each and every day. As we said, each breath is a gift. In your humanness, the ego loves to jump in. With the yeah buts, but this isn't right. But this isn't the way it should be. Why did this happen this way? Why is this unfolding this way? If you could but see how much love is working in the background. How each and every choice changes things. Especially those choices made not in alignment with love, but made in alignment with greed or power or control. A new way to look at things. love is unfolding all around you. Always. Even when things appear to be headed in the wrong direction, love is there. These thoughts you think, this consciousness that is reminding you, salting your mind with thoughts. Thoughts of love. Thoughts of compassion. Are there any questions?
I feel that you're kind of zapping us with a whole lot of love tonight. Bigger zap.
There is much love in the room tonight, dear ones.
We appreciate it.
There is much love in this whole.
Who laughs? Keith, Samuel, or both of you?
Samuel.
So you're getting more and more humor out of us. We've grown on you.
Oh, we so love you, dear ones.
Do you feel our appreciation? Are you able to do that? Or how does that work in the higher self realm? Energy.
All is vibration. All energy has a signature, dear ones. When you send love, we feel it. He feels tremendous love at this very moment, washing over him, through him.
Happy Valentine.
For as you send it, we send it right back. We shower you with it, dear ones. As we spoke of before, even when you are in pain, we shower you with love. For is not pain, is not grief, just a disconnect from the love that you are. In your humanness, in this duality, it is easy to get swept up in these other feelings.
Is that distractions? Distractions from the purpose?
Sometimes these distractions, as you call them, serve a higher purpose, do they not? Do they not wake you up to the love that you are on occasion? We have spoken of this before. And just part of your reason for coming into this human form is to experience things other than just love. To grow in love. To learn how to be more loving, more compassionate, more giving of the love that you are.
That does require us healing ourselves. First.
What is healing yourself but
Loving yourself.
coming back to the remembrance of what you are? You are love itself, dear ones. Each one of you is an expression, a unique expression of love.
How would Samuel talk to someone that wouldn't understand any of this?
They wouldn't be here. You wouldn't talk to them. Neither would Samuel.
Well, I don't know. I'm just thinking.
Have you
Well, I understand that, but I mean, how do you?
have you not heard that saying, when the student is ready, the teacher shall appear?
All right. And then what does he say? I get all that. I get that. What's the
Have not you had an intuition at times? Not really understanding it, but knowing whatever it is, you should not drive down that street. You should turn here instead. That is a way of speaking that some people never even notice. They receive this gift, this loving nudge to turn. When their guide knows it is in their highest and best interest. And not everything is meant to be avoided, dear ones. There are some lessons that can only be learned through this experiencing of them. Just as each one of you in this room has come acquainted with this thing that you call grief, there is not one human that will not experience grief in this lifetime. There is also this thing, dear ones, called, as you could say, as your awareness or your consciousness rises, your understanding changes, does it not?
So could it be the more we experience grief or losing those we love or people, our consciousness grows even more? Or quicker, or...
It allows you to...
growth.
Again, dear ones, there is always choice. There are those who choose to stay stuck in grief because that has become their normal. This one we speak through lived like that for many months. He was so mired in grief, he had no way of clawing his way out. For him, one day he surrendered to it. And in that surrender, dear ones, he experienced love on such a deeper level than he ever knew he was capable of. And we do not mean the physical kind of love. We mean the kind of love that we are talking about tonight. The love that binds each and one of you. The love that breathes each one of you. There is so much depth to this.
Was it like love filled the cavity of his chest and resuscitated his heart?
It filled his whole existence, dear one. Everywhere he looked, he could not help but see it. It wasn't just in him, it was all around him, everywhere he looked. Even the daffodils shared their love with him. So much so that he thought he was going stark, raving mad, dear ones. What is going on with me? No clue. No reference for what he saw, what he experienced. And yes, that is how you grow. You get to the edge and you experience something brand new, and all of a sudden you realize that the edge you thought was there does not exist. This reality that you have fashioned, so to speak, with your mind becomes broader, more expansive, more inclusive.
More vapor. Like it's not even there. It just expands on out into this intelligence. To this blanket.
We tell you, dear ones, they spoke of this in the Bible, did they not? The mansion has many rooms. We tell you it has many levels too. And saying it has many rooms. Leaves the possibility open, does it not? How many are there? He wrote some friends just this week. Of this experience he had, and when he told his hospice counselor, he thought he was going nuts. She assured him he was not. And as he began to wrap his mind around that and accept this new reality that had been shown to him, his dear hospice counselor asked him, "Do you ever think you could go back to the way you were before?"
Good one.
For this he had no real explanation other than to tell her that he felt like he opened a door and walked into a new room where everything was new and different. As he looked around in amazement, he looked back to try to see where he had come from. This door he talked about was non-existent. It was like when he stepped through that barrier, his old life was just a memory. Some of you have heard of this term they call the shift. He had a dramatic shift that day. So much so, it was like he was in an elevator that just shot up so many floors that when he got there and walked out, he had no idea where he had even come from, or how he could possibly go back there. Have not you noticed that to yourself? Once you experience a certain thing, especially something that you feel at the outset you could not even accomplish. Once you cross that barrier, it's as if the barrier no longer exists for you.
So would you say then that kind of losing your fear of death is a growth?
Oh, yes.
I
What is to fear? You are just birthed back into your...
Well, I
You
remember...
are just welcome home, dear one.
I remember as a young nurse, I guess wanting to prove my skill to prolong life. But then as time went by, my love now is really to help somebody cross over. I don't see the sense in, it's up to each one individually, but personally, I don't wish to help prolong unless I absolutely have to, and I don't have to anymore.
You act as if it is your choice, my dear one.
Yes.
It is not your choice.
Right.
Each individual will pass when it is their time.
That's true.
And they know that. They experience that. Some, yes, hang on for far longer than others. Some go quickly, some go slowly, some stay here very long, some never make it out of childhood. Each one knows when it is their time.
I remember realizing when it didn't matter what we did, nurses, doctors, who screwed up, who did what, nobody was going anywhere until it was their time. But that took me a while to realize.
What about people who are at the end of life, they're not living essentially anymore, and yet they don't die?
Yeah.
I have some patients that just last for weeks.
Are they conscious? Are they conscious or just their bodies?
And, yeah, just their bodies are. I've got one patient who's been alive for at least a year when she's completely, her daughter says she's not here.
Mm-hmm.
It's her body is still alive, but her...
I have heard astrologers say there's usually 3 exit points, and a person will choose which one they want. So I was wondering, how does prayer help? If they're going to choose it, then why do we pray?
And why do some people hang on? It's a hardship on this woman's family.
Because they're missing something.
Yes.
They're still wanting something.
Or afraid.
But we can't figure out what it is with this one.
Does she hear? Can she hear?
I was just wondering if you might...
Well, it might be in the family and not so much her.
So what?
It
That's
might
what
be
I'm
the
saying, it's
family
somebody
and
else's
not so
thing
much her.
that's holding her.
There's some tribal thing going on there.
Or they won't let her go.
Well, what do you say?
What do you
Sam?
say,
Sam?
Samuel? Now that we've had our discussion.
Why do people hang on?
It's not just the people, the family will hang on for different reasons.
It could be a past life.
Well, he's enjoyed it, you can tell.
There's a window, dear ones. Do not you sense sometimes that the families are having a very hard time letting go? And if there is a window of when they can cross, do you not think the soul may just hang on a bit for the family members?
I do think so in many cases, but then there's some cases where it just doesn't seem to be that.
Well, we don't know what we don't know.
Well, that's a good point. Is that it? We don't know what we don't know, Samuel?
We don't.
You wish That is this human trait, is it not? You wish to know all the answers.
Curious.
You wish to know for all the reasons why this person hangs on so long and this one goes so quickly. Why?
Maybe faith is not.
Why did the one that this one calls Philip not even birth? There is more going on than just the end, dear one. There are life lessons being learned by everyone associated with that one, that life form, even if it does not birth. They had already made a connection with him. And though they never even held him when he was alive, they mourned his passing. These emotions freshen in him. Each life is precious.
Sounds like what we need to do, number one, is release all judgment of anything. Of anything.
What?
Samuel,
Yes.
just before my aunt died, she was talking to people or relatives that I didn't know. But me being me, I said to her, I didn't know if she really was talking to someone or if she was maybe hallucinating pre-death. So me being me, I said, well, can I meet them? And she laughed at me and said, oh, don't be silly. But was she...
She was talking across the veil, dear one.
That's what I mean. She was. I knew it. I knew there was something there, but... Because they told me, oh, no, she was just hallucinating. But my gut said, oh, no.
They gather to greet you when you cross.
That was the day she died.
There are some...
Yes.
How do we say this? Let's see across the veil. That know what is coming, popping in and out, so to speak. being here but not yet all here.
So are these more guides that come to meet you, or are they people that you knew from your family, or is it one and the same maybe if they're past? One and the same, kind of?
Did not we discuss some of this last week?
Probably.
That your guides are there with you when you transition. But there are many family members and friends that are also there to greet you when you reach the other side. And as we have spoken tonight, there are those that as they are preparing to transition are seeing through the veil and talking to them before they actually cross.
So they don't have to ask for them to be there. They're just there.
They see them. They know they are there. They sense them. It depends on the person. Sometimes it's just sensing. Sometimes it's a visual. This one we speak through. Went through a funeral a few weeks back. To the gentleman that he bought his print shop from. And as you said, dear ones, when is somebody ready to hear these things? Years ago, he would go and visit this man. He looked at him as a father figure in his life. And when he started explaining the things that he has talked about tonight, this dear man told him, be mindful, dear ones, this man had had 3 heart attacks, massive heart attacks, before he finally transitioned. But he would tell this one we are speaking through how sometimes at night he would look at the window and people would appear. So again, we talk of this thing called reality. What was real for Jim? He saw and he talked to those spirits coming through the window. Now, are there not those that would say he was delusional? That there was no way it was possible? Again, we speak of consciousness. Some are not prepared to accept a reality beyond what they see and feel and experience with this physical form. Yet some have visions. You could call this one Jim as saying he had visions. As this one spoke with him, he had no trouble accepting what Jim was saying. Again, we speak of where does reality end? What is reality? For some, us gathered here tonight is sheer folly. People sitting around listening to this guy talk. What is this madness? He speaks of a higher self, as if he's not all here in this physical form. Just as my dear friend told me of his conversations. Told me of Jesus visiting him. And then telling me in private that he was told he could leave. And he chose not to. So he could be with his dear wife just a bit longer. This one we speak through. Sent out an email this morning. A couple of videos that he likes called You Are Love. He got a response from Andrea in Montreal. He met her in England. She reminded him of the discussion they had in England. How she had what you call a near-death experience. Telling him how she appreciated him sharing the love and light of those videos. that all is love. For in her near-death experience, she said that is what she experienced. Call it what you want. Infinite unconditional love are just 3 words. But she reminded him, just as this dear one, Jim, had been told, she had been told. That she had a choice. She could stay or she could go. By go, we mean come back to this human form. She chose to come back for what? For love. For love of her 2 dear children that she did not want to leave without a mother. Tales such as these can fall on deaf ears, dear ones. But that does not make them untrue.
Does everyone get a choice or no?
No.
In both those cases, they were coming back for the human that they loved, for the benefit of the human that they loved, which meant that the ties that we have as the human realm.
Again, we tell you, what is one of your purposes here? To grow in love. To be love. To express love. To radiate love. To shed this thing you call judgment.
I have a question.
Yes.
Many years ago, I had a miscarriage, and I went to see a channeler, and they told me that in the spirit world, he would have been a boy, and they gave me his name, and they said he would have, let me see, how did they say? He was like 8 years old in the spirit world, but they could only see half of him, so he would have been deformed if he'd been born. And they gave me his name, and they told me to call on him whenever I needed anything, to call on him. And they said that, asked me if I had an old wooden rocking chair, and I did. And they said, well, you'll go down the hall one day and you'll see it rocking, and that'll be John, and just not to be afraid. So if when miscarriages happen or abortions or whatever, these people, these entities become spirits on the other side and grow, continue to grow.
How do we say this? There is there is a part of them. Again, we speak on the other side of the veil. We are but energy. In your humanness, they will express as that.
So it was for my benefit that the channeler said that. Because if I'd had the child, he would have been 8 at the time. But she sees him on the other side. So that was something.
That is his. How do we say?
Way to help her understand.
His way of connecting with you, so you could, how do we say, relate to him. Not that she made anything up.
No, I don't believe she did.
This one has spoken of the dear dog he lost. He knows she is in spirit. But when he sees her, when he senses her, she expresses as she was in this realm. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. And so others
She expresses, or he would express as he would be seen in this realm. Because that is what you can relate to. You cannot relate to an energy signature. No, on a feeling level, yes, you could relate to the energy signature. You might relate to the emotion of it. But when this clairvoyance or vision aspect kicks in, you expect to see a human form. You don't expect to see energy, a wave, a pulse, a frequency. Even though on the other side, that's the way we identify each other. On this side of the veil, that means nothing. Again, it's this reference point. If you do not have a reference point, how can we explain to you what the other side is? There is no reference for you.
Well, since the channel told her that a rocker might be rocking, that would be evidence of energy. That's how I would have taken that. I would have expected to see.
Have not some of you, there are many ways. Sense is one that's particularly, some people sense. This one that he met in December, she talks of always smelling her grandmother's perfume. It is her way of noticing. She doesn't have it's, how do we say? Not every hat fits the same person. Some people are visual, some people the scent means much. Some people just can feel. This one feels much.
It's kind of like seeing a bird and then all of a sudden saying, "Oh, that's you." Thank
Ask
you.
our dear Laura how often the blue jay comes and visits. Dear John sending her a message. I am near you. I am with you. I love you so very dearly. The bond is never broken, dear ones.
So is the robin that's been visiting with me every morning on the dog walk somebody in particular? Or is it just spirit saying hello?
Is it Yubi?
I don't know. That's what I was wondering.
Hubie has taken flight, has he not?
Well, the robin flies.
He said, "Yeah, he's taking flight."
Yubi has taken flight.
So that's why I just sat there and looked at me as
Yeah.
I mean, right there. Like the blue jay, probably.
Yeah.
Ask the dear one Laura about the blue jay. One day sitting on the railing just going,
Yes.
John was so
and
funny.
just doing all these peculiar movements.
Weird. I've never seen a blue jay or any bird make the movements that this blue jay said. He was looking at me. I was sitting right there. He was sitting right on the railing. He was looking at me and going,
You had a strange energy for him.
Yeah, that's funny. When my son's father passed away, we all came home, his aunt, his sisters, his father's sisters, and we were sitting on the porch, and there was a tree, and all of a sudden, all these bluebirds just came and landed. And we were talking about, Zach was talking about his dad and all his male friends that had passed over. All of a sudden, all these bluebirds, like about 5 or 6 of them, and they all just started chirping away like they were having a party. And this was the strangest thing. There was like this little branch. I mean, it looked like a twig, but it was shaped like a trapeze. And one of the birds was like swinging on it, and the others were all like they were having a party. So it was like we realized he's okay. He's with his friends, and he's okay.
I went to a memorial service outside in a park, and we were in one of the underneath things, and lo and behold, just like you said, all these bluebirds came out of nowhere, and then everybody looked at each other, and we all realized what we were all thinking the same thing, and then they just started to take off. It was beautiful.
I mean, they stayed there while we looked and we talked, and we're like, they're just having a little party. This is Dad's going to be okay, Zach.
God bless the birds.
Yeah. But that one that was swinging on the
That's
little
funny.
branch, I mean, it just like appeared out of nowhere. It was
He
miraculous.
said, "Hey, I came to hang out."
Yeah.
Literally.
I'm having fun, don't worry about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
This
my
one we
grandson-
speak through.
My grandson, when he sees a yellow butterfly.
He was asking for guidance. He was calling on his first wife, Jane, walking on the golf course. Wondering if she approved of this new one he had come to like so much, called Laura, asking for a sign. And no sooner than that thought had crossed through his mind, 2 Canadian geese flew mere feet above his head.
Two.
he knew in that moment she was blessing both of them.
And she has in so many ways ever since. His first wife.
Awareness. Love is all around you, dear ones. Those who cross love you from the other side of the veil, knowing full well that, as we have mentioned, they take many different ways to communicate that to you.
It's 8:15.
I know.
Dear Samuel, thank you for coming and laughing with us tonight and sharing your love with us.
You've got extra for Valentine's.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Yes.
Samuel.
Happy Valentine's Day to you, dear ones. May you celebrate it each and every day of the rest of your lives. Love yourselves, dear ones, for you are that. Share your love. Grow in love. Be the love that you are. Be the love that birthed you. Be the love that breathes you. For you are that. We thank you. We love you so very, very much, dear ones. And we bid you a very loving adieu.
I do. Wow.
I've got to tell y'all another John story. This is hilarious, if a little bit dirty humor. John had a sense of humor.
This is
and
your
he
son?
Yes, that died a year and a half ago.
Has it been that long?
It has been, well, it was September a year ago. So almost a year and a half. Well, I know it. He had a sense of humor, and he would crack you up when you weren't expecting. Well, I don't remember, as I thought about telling this story, I can't remember at all what my problem was, but I was having a really hard time. And I just came home from work, and I went back. I got changed out of my uniform. I laid down on my bed, and the curtains were open at our bedroom. And I was just, I don't remember if I was crying or just thinking, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? How am I going to go on? Whatever. I don't remember what it was. But anyway, I was looking at this tree. It was just kept grabbing my attention. And all of a sudden, and I kept looking at this one space where hackberries are weird trees. If you cut something off, all sorts of branches come out. Well, it looked, for all the world, like two legs with a great big branch right in the crotch of the legs. And
So you started laughing. You started laughing?
no.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah.
But first, a blue jay came and landed right there.
Blue
and said,
jay.
I said, oh, hey, John. I'm wrestling with whatever this worry is. But my mind keeps going back to these branches and this rod. And John goes, I mean, the Blue Jays, wow. And I said, John, are you trying to call my attention to that? And all of a sudden I knew that's exactly what he was doing.
Oh,
And then I did. I just burst out laughing because whatever it was, it was not worth worrying about.
Right. Oh gosh, yes. That's wonderful.
I'm going to have to look back at my journal and figure out what it was that I was.
Oh, don't go back there. Don't go back to the worry.
But it was
Back to the worry.
hilarious.